go get them again.
Welcome back to the Robezoid channel. I'm your host, Mark, and welcome to Sampling Samples. Today, we are sampling from a brand that I have minimal experience with. It is the brand of Bortnikoff. We all start somewhere with different brands, and our journeys are all different. So for me, I've been in the game for quite a long time, but I've kind of ignored this portion of our fragrance realm. Bortnikoff is new to me. Last year I started dipping into the brand, and this year we are not stopping. So I sampled Sayat Nova before this, and now it's Tabac Doré's turn. So a tobacco-based fragrance. I want to see what this brand can do. This brand is pretty expensive. And I would have to say, you know, if you're watching my videos just for funsies, perfect. But this is more for the experienced nose. I think if you're into just designer fragrances, things like that, I don't think this is a brand for you. You have to start, I don't know, I feel like this brand personally, and again, I don't have too much experience with it, but I feel like if you really like the dark Serge Lutens Sheldrakes, like that's a really good kind of stepping stone from niche to this. Like you want more from Uncle Serge and Sheldrake. From the ones I've smelt, this is kind of up that alley in regards to the ones I've smelt. Again, I haven't smelt what Bortnikoff is known for is the musks, and this is what I think, musks and the ouds, and I haven't really delved into that realm yet. I've seen a little bit of it here with the samples that I've sampled, but not yet to the full extent to what Bortnikoff is known for. So my journey is kind of a little different with this brand. I'm kind of going with notes and things that I'm accustomed to and kind of see where the quality is. The quality is there, especially with this one. So if you're a tobacco head, keep it tuned in because this is a hell of a review. So let's go under the hood. Let's take a look at some stats on this one before we delve into it. Release date, it's a fairly new release, 2021. The nose, of course, a founder and in-house perfumier, Dmitry Bortnikoff. The major notes to my nose, well, basically most of the note breakdown, you'll see like some pretty big, bold notes and some dark ones. They're all there, but the thing is they really support the main theme, and I love when brands do this, that the other notes are big and bold and crazy and develop, and they're three-dimensional and they're authentic. However, the main theme is always there. Now, the main theme here is tobacco, and the tobacco leaf in here, I feel like throughout the whole journey of the fragrance, this is a tobacco-based fragrance. Nothing steals the show. On the contrary, all these big, bold notes are actually emphasizing what tobacco can do, and tobacco's really complex note. I dare I say probably one of the most complex notes in perfumery. You can do so much with the note. It's almost like a meldable note that you can add certain things and make it interesting. Like it's interesting with almost everything. So tobacco, I'm gonna go with oud in the back end as a big note as well. There's a lot of woods in the back end of this thing. Honestly, the woods, as far as what I really enjoy about this scent, the woods are an afterthought, personally. And the labdanum. The resins, I could name any of the resins or the balsams in here because the resins are absolutely stunning. They are 3D, they are authentic. They're giving out everything that they can to really emphasize the tobacco. So let's get into it. And as you can see, I got a big smile on my face. I'm wearing it now. It's probably an hour 3 or 4 here. Gorgeous, gorgeous scent. So it is my scent of the day. It is a lucky scent sample. I'm right at the end of it. We are going to drain this sample. Goodbye. I still don't own one Bortnikoff bottle in my collection yet. It's a fairly new brand to me, of course, but the wish list is growing, including this one. So this is on the wish list. So see you later. A little sample launched, and oh. Right away, this scent hits you like a ton of bricks. This scent immediately off the bat, oh, man, makes me think personally of the brand of Slumber House. You don't need long to really notice quality in scents, and this is quality. You can smell almost the texture, the oily texture of the resins in Slumber House fragrances, and this one right here. Complexity is the name of the game of this opening. And I know, like tobacco, like I was saying, tobacco is one of the notes, if not one of the most complex notes in perfumery. Tobacco can come off as several different ideas, and here it does. It's so complex, I can't say this smells like a particular cigar. Sometimes you can just go, okay, this smells like this, or it's like, you know, a whiskey dipped cigar, and that's the end of the idea, or it's a fruity cigar, right? They added a cherry to the tobacco, or it's a lit cigar, so there is a different nuance to it. This smells like the whole damn humidor. I've been in homes that do have these smoking rooms, and I mean, I'm talking smoking rooms, right? No leather chairs, but it's all controlled. They even have vents in those. Anyway, it's something that I won't have in my house ever unless I'm a millionaire, but man, this smells like that moment when I first went into a house that had this. I was just like, that smell. All the different types of cigars. And I mean, this fragrance smells oily, balsamic. You can smell wet and dry pieces. And I'm talking about tobacco here, but there's some wetness and some dryness. So almost like a moistness to it. It's heavy on the tobacco leaf, 100%. There's sweet nuances, there's fruity nuances, there's spicy aspects, there's tons of woods in the back end. It's got leathery aspects, it's got a little bit of powderiness. It's everything you'd want for an experienced nose that has smelled dozens of tobacco-based fragrances to perhaps hundreds of them. You're itching for something that's unique. You're itching for something complex. You're itching for the whole spectrum, right? You know, we've smelt all these type of tobacco-based scents, and this one, I haven't smelt something like this in a while. It reminds me, I'm trying to remember which slumber house, but there's a slumber house that has tobacco in it, and I do have a bottle of it. I don't know why the name is escaping me. I'll remember it in the video at some point, but this is absolutely gorgeous in the opening. Now let's dissect the primary note in here. It's the tobacco. The tobacco here is dried tobacco leaves rolled up. You're in a humidor. Picture having all kinds of different types of cigars from different regions, different type of flavors. You have dark, you know, softer ones, light ones, flavored ones, boozy dipped ones, chocolate based ones, vanillic ones, you name it, you have it in here. And those nuances, they're here, like a vanillic dipped cigar, even a fruity one. Like it's the scent right here is tobacco leaves. Some are dry, so that's why it's making me think of humidor, like not smoked cigars, but really dry. But there are some in here that are wet, and I think that's the portion of this scent that I really gravitate towards, because that's quite unique. It's like you smelled some that were dipped in whiskey or cognac or something like that to kind of rehydrate the leaves. I feel like the wet ones are closer to your nose, or I gravitate towards those, but you can smell some in the distance, the dry tobacco leaves. And that's where I kind of start smelling something boozy in this release, which kind of brings me to, obviously, the fruity aspect. Now, you can't talk about booze without talking about fruity aspects and dried fruits, and it's here. I feel mostly I'm getting a dried apricot note, but I know that figs are listed in here, and I do get like a deep purple hue in this release, like a fruity thing, and it could be fig, it could be plum. It's just, the apricot's definitely there, 100%, but there is something purple in here, plummy, figgy. Now, going back to the moistness of this tobacco leaf, it almost seems like it's a dank, chocolatey patchouli note. Patchouli is not listed, at least I don't think so. But I'm getting that dankness in here. Now, it's not like, you know, chocolatey patchoulis, yeah, it's there. And it's not like in your basement kind of dankness, but it's there. And I definitely do get like a chocolatey touch as well. Not big and bold, it's not gourmand, but it's one little aspect of the whole thing. At some point, staying with this humidor theme, I smell smoke, but it's a stale smoke. It's like it's ingrained in fabric. And again, I'm going to this humidor that, you know, I was in a home that had this, and it's just like the leather seats. And there's a leather note in here, of course, from the lab that the leather feels kind of suede-like, so it's not a big, bold, punching leather, but it feels really used leather and really ingrained with smoke, and that's what I'm kind of smelling here. The leather is from the labdanum, and it's gorgeous, but it's not the star of the show, and that's one thing I wanted to, and again, beautiful leather note, but never really getting away from the main theme of the tobacco. Now going on, oh man, now going on to the balsams. The resins, major portion in here. Tolu Poru Balsam give the scent a balsamic quality. Tolu specifically gives the scent its ambery glow with its vanillic facets, but also some spicy cinnamon touches. The Puru Balsam gives more of a smoky facet to the fragrance than the Tolu, but it also helps here. The balsams are truly a work of art in this fragrance and can be forgotten by how good the tobacco note is in here, but man, those resins, those balsams are absolutely gorgeous in this fragrance. Like even without a tobacco note, like let's remove the tobacco note out of this release. Those resins are awesome. They're great. Now this opening and mid is very close to one of the best tobacco realistic scents I've smelt in my journey. Might be top 3. And you know, I've smelt a lot. It's thick, it's dense, it's very rich as an opening. And again, I need to preface this, but you need to be an advanced nose to really appreciate what is going on here in this opening. There's so much complexity in this release. There is some minor animalic touches here. I wanted to pinpoint it in the fragrance review, but I didn't want to spend too much time on the animalic facet. Nothing too crazy in this this fragrance. It's more into the back end of the fragrance. You kind of want more, you smell it, but it's very minor. It gets lost in the whole theme of things. Personally, I would never classify this as an animalic scent at all, but it's appreciated to see kind of like a glimpse of, I don't know, like a muskiness or something in there that really gravitates my nose, but it's really deep in the fragrance that you have to kind of like start searching for it. But you can, especially somebody that has a lot of experience with fragrances, you'll kind of smell it that it's there. So it's not going to be like a big cheesy thing that you're gonna be like, oh no. And it's not going to be like a big funky thing at all. It's very minute, it's very minor, and it's in the back end of the fragrance. The blending here, talking about that, is on point. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, getting more into the deep dry down, and the opening is a showstopper. Like 10 out of 10 doesn't even cut it. It's over the 10 gasp. Now, getting into the mid and deeper dry down, this imagery tones down. You're losing a lot of these complex parts. You're losing a lot of that oomph in this fragrance. You're getting a little more of the resin, so you're getting a lot more of that ambery sweetness here. And the sweetness is not fakey kind of stuff, and it's not big and bold. You can really appreciate it. If you're a big frag head that maybe doesn't like sweetness, you will kind of appreciate this because there's so much more in here. It's just perfect, and it's not central, right? But the balsams here have a larger role. That ambery balsamic brown hue is going to come out more and more here. Now the oud that the brand is known for, and it is in the note breakdown, isn't big or bold in this release at all, but it has, I would say, a larger role in this back end than in the front end. The front end of the fragrance, honestly, I can hardly detect any oud, honestly, at all. But really, all it's giving here is a smoked wood idea in this back end. And so you're kind of losing like this stale, smoky leather chair idea, and you're going more into a smoky wood idea. Cedar helps that idea. So there is cedar in here that gives out more of a rough and tumble Home Depot woody aspect. So there's more woody facets in this back end than the front end. The front end was more resinous tobacco. And again, the tobacco is still here, obviously, as the primary. But you're losing a lot of these fruity nuances. You're losing some of the spicy nuances. You're losing, you know, a lot of that wet tobacco is more of a dry leaf now. So in this back end, yes, you're losing a lot of the oomph. Yes, you're losing a lot of the complexities. And I'm not saying that this isn't complex in the back end, it is. But you're missing a lot of the X factors to me, which was the moist, wet tobacco leaves, the fruity nuances, the chocolatey sprinkle, several facets that you were getting hit over the head with, which I really, really like. They kind of went away and it went a little more into, okay, this is the structure you're getting. The tobacco is still central, but you're losing the interesting tobacco and you're still getting a dried tobacco leaf, which is absolutely gorgeous, but you're getting more woody aspects, less leather. You're getting a lot more of the resins, but you're getting less 3D resins. You're getting more of that ambery glow sweetness. But anyway, at the end of the day, it just really rounds out perfectly as a scent. And again, I say this from time to time on these sampling samples that these Lucky Scent samples aren't enough for certain scents. And this gives me a really good gist of an idea of what I'm anticipating if I bought a bottle of this. So I still really like the price point of these Lucky Scent samples, and it just gives me an idea. Is this a complete fragrance review on this? No. I feel like I could get a lot more getting out, of course, a whole bottle out of this. So overall, probably the most authentic tobacco leaf experience that I've smelt in a long, long time. I'm trying to think of one recently, and I can't. Well balanced, well composed. Everything that people say that absolutely they love Bortnikoff as a brand, I see in this fragrance. Now let's get into seasons, day, night, versatility, and performance. Seasons. This is such a dark, daring fragrance. I feel like best for fall, but great for winter as well. And I'm talking about Canadian winters, you know, the -40s. This is perfect for it. Day or night, I feel like this is more an evening time type of scent. But again, casual use for yourself during the day or night, doesn't matter. Versatility, below average. I feel like this has a lot of more oomph, a little more craziness that you'd be wary of when you'd wear it. Performance. Performance was good. And again, with brands like this, people like to overemphasize what they get out of it. Longevity, 9 to 11 hours. You know, you get your 10 plus out of me, yes. Projection, not beast. I feel like above average. You're getting your first couple hours, you are, you're big and bold. And then once this structure kind of mellows down to what it really is going to be for the next 8 to 9 hours, now you're getting that projection is still there, but not big and bold. Like I've had fragrances that still blow doors off for 3 to 4 hours in. So this is not one of those. It really does mellow after the first couple hours. So my final thoughts on this one. Blown away, first of all. What can I say? This brand, I'm only 2 fragrances in, and they're both standouts. As a tobacco lover, I feel like leather and tobacco are my 1-2 punch. They might be my 2 favorite notes in perfumery. You can just do almost anything with them and it just works, personally for me. It's right up there. This one is right up there as one of the better ones that I've smelt in this genre. The one thing I can take away from this fragrance review and this testing with, of course, Tabac Doré is the opening of this one is the star of the show. I really wanted to reapply during my couple wearings, but I couldn't because of lack of juice. You know, my first wearing, I was like, oh, I want to, you know, several hours in, I wanted to reapply, but I'm like, no, you gotta temper your feelings here and you need to get your second wearing in. So that can be a good sign or a bad sign, right? Good sign. I want to revisit the opening. I really like what I smell. I need a bottle for more sprays. Or it could be a bad sign that the dry down isn't as great. I wanted more of that big, bold opening. I'm not sure. Don't let my thoughts stray you away from testing this, as it is 100% sample worthy. I am not regretting smelling this release. This is absolutely gorgeous. Now, regretting, my wallet's regretting. My wallet's probably screaming right now, going, no, don't do that now. Now, if I had to give it a score out of 10, this is perfect score, 10 out of 10. Once you start getting into top 5 of especially a genre like tobacco, leather, ouds, some of my favorite types of fragrances, and you're hitting top 5 and I don't have a bottle of you yet, you're getting a 10. You are getting a 10. So now that you heard my take, I'd love to see yours in the comments below. Love it, hate it, overrated brand, not one of the best tobaccos. You know, I love seeing different types of people in comments out there for a particular scent to help out anybody that's watching this video. And as always, a great report fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your tobacco-based fragrance wisely. Thanks for watching, YouTube.